Hello and welcome. Welcome to Stop the Limbo, How to Have a Passionate Marriage or a Compassionate Divorce. I'm Linda Kroll, and I'm going to be with you for the next 20 minutes or so and give you the benefit of my 35 years of experience as an internal family systems therapist, mediator, attorney, Chopra certified teacher of meditation, yoga, Ayurveda, and give you some tips on how you can get out of limbo. Or if you're a professional who works with individuals and couples in conflict, how you can help them get out of limbo starting today. So let's talk a little bit about what it means to be in limbo. Because Albert Einstein has said that men marry women hoping that they'll never change, and women marry men hoping to change them, and inevitably they're both disappointed. So I want to make sure that you can hear me. So if you want to put something in the comments to let me know you can hear me, that would be great. And if you have any questions, I'm going to stay till the end to answer them. So please keep them or put them in the comments and I'll come back to them. And if you're watching later, thanks for watching. And you can reach me by going to lindacroll.com/contact and find a way to connect with me there. But let's go back to Albert Einstein. He said, men marry women hoping they'll never change. Women marry men hoping to change them. And inevitably, they're both disappointed. So what does that mean if they're both going to be disappointed? It means that at one point or another, they don't know what they want to do. And I was in a relationship for a long time. I don't know about you. I was very happy when it started. When it started to get difficult, I spent a very long time in limbo because I didn't want to break up my family. But later I realized that we don't have to break up families. They can be peacefully and respectfully restructured. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Because I've found in my 35 years of doing therapy, mediation, is that many people stay in a relationship that they should leave, and others leave when they should stay because they don't know the information they need to move forward. So we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes to avoid that keeps you out of limbo, because you stay in limbo because you're locked in your bad habits. You communicate dysfunctionally. You yell, you withhold, you avoid, you distract, but you're not really being your best self. That calm, clear, compassionate, higher self that you already have, you just don't communicate from. Another mistake is you avoid talking about the possibility of a separation or divorce. Maybe you've been thinking about it for a very long time, but instead of actually mentioning it to your partner and giving them a heads up that you really are that unhappy, you keep on keeping on. And another mistake that you can make is that you don't learn your options. So you're stuck in a very black and white situation of, I don't want to stay, I don't want to get divorced, I'm just going to be stuck. That's not healthy for you, for your children, for your relationship, for your future. So learning your options is very important. And we're going to talk about that. Another problem is quitting too soon. Just saying, you know what, too much trouble. Let me out of here. I'm leaving. I don't want to be in limbo. I'm going to be gone. Unfortunately, that doesn't work, because when you leave a relationship and you're upset and you're frustrated and you're judgmental and all those other things, what you're going to have happen is that you'll forever be linked to your partner. No matter what happens in the future, when you see them, when you think of them, you're going to be stressed. So get the information and support you need to make a decision from your highest self in order to have a better relationship. And then the other option to avoid, to stay stuck, is to not learn what you need to learn, is to just stay busy, eat too much, drink too much, have an affair, whatever you're doing. It isn't working. So don't stay stuck, because you can get the guidance you need. I'm going to give you some today, and then I'm going to show you how to get more. So what is limbo? Limbo is a state of uncertainty. It's when you think, should I stay or should I go? And you lose sleep, you get confused, you get upset, and maybe you don't want to think about it, so you avoid it. Or you get into repetitive arguments. The same things keep triggering you over and over again, and you keep on keeping on, but you're not really getting anywhere. And the biggest, I think, is avoidance. We just all avoid. My favorites are sugar, TV, Facebook Reels, but A lot of times people avoid with food, with alcohol, and TV, all those screens, been on their phone all the time. But a lot of people deal with limbo by going and finding an affair, an emotional affair, a physical affair. A lot of my clients, unfortunately, have had that happen to them. And then they're stuck with the issue that the affair now becomes the reason that there's problems in the relationship. So if you're going to have an affair, don't. Talk about how unhappy you are. Talk about the possibility of a separation or divorce. Then go have your affair. Because if you have an affair, it becomes the affair that's the whole issue. So don't do that. So the other thing I want to help you with is moving through limbo. Because how is it affecting you? How's it affecting your health? A lot of my clients are very anxious. They think that if they just decided on what they wanted to do, they wouldn't be as anxious. But they have to calm down first and then decide. But being in this state of not knowing what you wanted to do because you don't have all the information, all the support or all the guidance affects your health. I had a chronic health condition that went on for many years because I was working so hard to balance the illusion of a happy marriage when secretly there were a lot of issues going on. So don't sacrifice your health by being in limbo. Your energy is affected. You spend so much time avoiding being sad or angry or scared or worried or anxious or defensive or guilty or whatever. You zap your energy. So making a decision, getting clear, and taking some inspired action steps. Those action steps could be getting counseling, could be journaling, could be getting your own issues straightened out. But whatever you need to do, take care of it because your energy is being depleted by your indecision. Your sleep is being affected. You probably go to sleep at night, and once you stop being busy, all those thoughts of how are you feeling? What could you do? Am I stuck? Do I need a divorce? Those aren't your only two options. I'm going to give you many more today. So be willing to do your own work to heal this. But if you don't do it, it's affecting your other work. You can't concentrate when you're at the office. You can't be as present to your colleagues because in the back of your mind, you're suffering. You're in pain. You're in confusion. So it's affecting you. And because it's affecting you, it's affecting your children. So limbo is not a good place to be. And I want to ask you, how many years have you been struggling with this? A lot of my clients come to see me years into their indecision. And by the time they get there, the marriage isn't the issue so much as how embarrassed they are of having stayed, or ashamed they are for the decisions they made, or self-critical and self-doubting, valuing their own self-worth. And they've been hiding their feelings for a very long time. So you don't have to struggle. You don't have to stay in limbo. You can learn how to get out of it. And the reasons for limbo, as we talked about, is that you've got some bad habits. You've been doing what you've been doing for such a long time that you don't even realize there's a different way to communicate. We're going to talk about that. And you don't know how to listen. You listen defensively. You listen reactively. You listen judgmentally. You listen to prove your partner wrong or correct the facts, but you're not really listening with empathy. Now, would you like to be listened to with empathy? Absolutely. Do I want that for you? I sure do. But you may have to listen first in order to be listened to. So we'll talk about how to do that. And again, if you don't know your options, you're stuck in black and white. I have to stay stuck or I have to get divorced. Don't want to do either. Learn your options. We're going to talk about those. And if you're uninformed as to your rights and finances, which goes a little deeper into information that you need to know, that I'm also going to give you today. When you have your information, you can begin to make informed, confident, calm decisions for your future. But get that information. It doesn't mean if you see an attorney to get some details about what you might be entitled to that you have to hire that attorney, but get informed. And then I want to help you with all the parts of you that are scared, overwhelmed, feeling alone, sad, angry. Deep breath with me here. I want to help you with all of it. And I want to tell you, I have a great deal of empathy and compassion for how limbo feels. I was in it for a very long time and it wasn't helpful. And it kind of motivated all I do now to help people get out of it. Because Wayne Dyer has said, when we change the way we look at something, what we look at changes. So when people come to my office, individuals, couples, for couples counseling, for divorce mediation, for their own personal growth, they all get my introduction on how to be your best self. And when I talk to them about being in self, in terms of internal family systems, it's that place inside of us that is calm, clear, compassionate. You know those moments? They're usually just moments. We're not always in self. Instead, we're in parts that we exile and push aside, parts that we manage with and show the world, and parts that we get extreme with. So many of us have pushed aside the sad, the hurt, the scared parts of ourselves. We've managed by being codependent, nice, pleasing, hardworking, or we put on what I call a pseudo self, where you look like you're in self, but you're really sad, hurt, and scared in your relationship, or angry, and you're not talking about it. So when you try to manage those feelings that you're pushing aside, you get extreme in some ways. You eat too much, drink too much, go have an affair, get enraged, get panicked, get depressed. Sometimes you hire an attorney and say, get me divorced. Deep breath. Whatever you do, you want to do it from your highest and best self. And when you are in your highest and best self, you can have empathy for everything that you're feeling, everything that your partner is feeling, and learn how to compassionately communicate. And we'll talk more about that. So when you are looking at things from your higher self, you can do it in compassionate mediation. I'm going to tell you more about that process that I've developed, because in compassionate mediation, you can talk about everything. You can talk about sex, you can talk about parenting, you can talk about finances, you can talk about relationship responsibilities, you can talk about extended family and friends. You can talk about everything in a way that leads to a new beginning. And sometimes talking about an ending can lead to a new beginning, because there are so many times where my clients have come to me and they haven't wanted to upset the apple cart by truly telling their partner how unhappy they are. So they stay unhappy for such a long time. They look at their partner through the filter of judgment. They put a wall up around their heart that keeps them from feeling vulnerable. And by the time they come to me, the marriage is almost over. But if they had had the courage years before to tell their partner, I am so unhappy that I need to think about ending this relationship. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it doesn't have to be confrontational. When you're coming from your highest self, it doesn't have to be rage. It doesn't have to be an ultimatum. It's you knowing what you want, knowing you deserve it, which is important. Be willing to ask for it and receive it, and be grateful. Those are the 5 steps of getting what you want and need. Know what you want and need. Know you deserve it, which is sometimes an issue. Know how to ask for it, because if you know what you want, you know you deserve it, it becomes a request. It doesn't become a demand or an ultimatum. It becomes a request from your heart to say, I need something more in this relationship. I don't know what to do to get it. Will you come with me to counseling? Can we talk about this honestly? But having the courage to talk about an ending is often what will motivate your partner to pay attention, to start over. So don't be afraid to speak your truth. Because as you know, partners often talk at each other instead of listening with empathy. They hear you, they hear you, they hear you, and they think you're going to complain until you die. One of you dies, and that's the end of your marriage. That doesn't have to be that way. You can learn to talk with each other, with empathy and compassion. You don't have to stay on opposite sides of the room, of your relationship, of your family. You can, deep down, learn how to express the yearning you each have inside for more intimacy, for connection, for passion, for fun. I love this picture from Burning Man of these 2 people sitting with their backs together, but their inner children are just yearning to reconnect. And whether I help you mindfully get through the impact of a divorce, or learn how to break free from your destructive patterns and create a brand new relationship, I want to give you the tools to do that. So in terms of my story, very briefly, I married my college sweetheart. We were married for 20 years. There began to be problems. And for many years, I stayed stuck. In fact, we separated and stayed stuck for 10 years. I thought that I was doing my children a favor by keeping our family intact, but by then we both had other relationships. And by the time we finally got divorced, so much pain, so much sadness had happened that I wanted to help other people avoid all of that. And that's why I put all of my education together. I am an internal family system therapist. I went to law school. I'm a mediator. I studied at the Chopra Center with Deepak Chopra, David Simon, David G., Claire Diab. And I put all of that together in my book, Compassionate Mediation. And what I do in there is to help individuals and couples to address all of your issues, emotional, spiritual, financial, legal, and gain the insights you need to either restructure your current relationship into something better or separate under the best possible conditions for all concerned. And just in case you want to get a free chapter, I'll tell you later, but at lindacrawlbook.com, you get a free chapter that explains everything about self and parts and all I'm talking about. So in the book, you can learn all that I'm talking about so far. But today, right now, I want to give you the 5 steps to stop the limbo and to create calm, confident, courageous conversations that will help you move forward. So how do you do that? Step 1, deep breath. Stop your bad habits. Take a look at yourself. Take your own inventory. Don't look at what your partner's doing wrong. He never, she always, whatever you're telling yourself. Take a look, take a breath, and go back to being your best self. Go back to inviting a compassionate connection where you speak with kindness and respect, where you have empathy for the scared, sad parts of each other, and you communicate from your highest and best self. Thich Nhat Hanh, a great spiritual leader, has said that the way to peace is to go to one side and talk about the pain and suffering of that side, and go back to the other side and talk about the pain and suffering of the second side. So getting to your best self, you're going to have compassion for all those exiled, managing extreme parts in yourself and in your partner, and have a whole new dialogue. And what I want you to do is get off the ledge, whatever ledge you're on right now, of I have to do it now, I have to make a decision, I can't be happy until I'm certain what I want to do. We're going to get you off that ledge because it's not helping. Okay, you don't have to dive into anything. You just have to take one inspired action step at a time, which includes listening to this program right now. This is a step. Congratulate yourself for being here. It's got a few more moments to share with you. You're going to learn more. This is a step. And then you can put into practice some of the things we're talking about. But you don't have to make a decision. There are many of my clients that came to me feeling, oh, just let me get divorced. Once I get divorced, I'll be happy. I'll know what I'm doing, etc. But it takes so much work to get divorced. I mean, what you have to learn to get divorced, if you put that energy into being your best self and learning how to compassionately communicate and explore your options and understand your rights and finances, you wouldn't have to get divorced. You could create something new from your highest and best self. So take a breath, get off that diving board, get your feet back on the ground, and know that you're going to find the support you need to get out of limbo and to get on your way to a better relationship, no matter what it's going to look like in the future. And what I want you to do is to be willing to do your own work. So when someone comes to me, I really try to understand the environment in which they're living. And what I do is ask them these questions. So ask yourself these questions. And if you're a therapist or coach, ask your clients these questions. What does your partner do that triggers you? How do you trigger your partner? And then what I have people look at is their families of origin and their partner's families of origin. And the reason I do that is once you have a kind of bird's eye view of where your partner was nurtured and what they did or didn't learn, it helps you look at them with more compassion. It helps you look at them with more understanding. It helps you realize that if they came from an alcoholic family, they didn't learn how to take care of themselves appropriately. If they were the last of many children, maybe they didn't learn how to be assertive. Whatever you learn from looking at your partner's family of origin helps you be more compassionate and kinder to the inner child inside your partner as you navigate the future together. The reason I ask for a word for spirituality, and I'm asking you, what is your word for spirituality? Is it God, nature, higher power, universe? The reason I ask you is because when we're in our higher self, we're connected to that. So if your word is God, I ask people, where is God? Everywhere. Is God inside of you? Yes. Bring that energy in to your relationship. And even if you're the only one that does that, that will change your relationship. So learning how to be in self, learning how to speak your truth is all part of what you need to do to get out of limbo. And then ask yourself a question. If you had a magic wand, if you could truly plan the future that you wanted for yourself, what would it look like? Are you thinking that you might need to leave because you can't get your partner's attention, so you're just throwing the towel in because what else are you going to do? Have you found someone else and it's irrevocable that you really don't want to reconcile with your partner? Are you just so sad or hopeless that you've given up? What would a magic wand do? And if that magic wand is that you'd love to be able to start over, you'd love to create a new and better relationship with your partner, keep your family intact, and have all that you want, let's find a way to choose that so you don't have to lose that by immediately going to a separation or divorce. So step one is to be your best self. Step two is to create a compassionate relationship by learning the miracle of empathy. And what the miracle of empathy will do will help you relate from your highest self with compassion and understanding, meaning you learn to use I messages. I feel sad, hurt, scared when you, not I feel that you. I feel that you is a judgment. And even if you feel that your partner is selfish or controlling or narcissistic or judgmental or lazy, whatever you think, how does it make you feel? And that's what you learn how to share with your partner, your feelings, not your judgments. And if you keep your feelings to sad, hurt, and scared, you're going to get more empathy. Your partner may be used to seeing you angry, so that's not going to get as much empathy. But you can learn how to use those words for yourself, and you can learn how to recognize your partner's sadness, pain, and fear. Because no matter what they're showing you, no matter how obnoxious they're being, no matter what they're doing to trigger you, underneath, they too have sad, hurt, and scared parts. And once the two of you start sharing that vulnerability with each other, you can create something new. So the miracle of empathy will help you do that. And then as you're communicating from your best self with empathy, whether or not your partner does this at all, you need to make this clear. If you are the only one bringing these skills back to your relationship, it will work. If you are a therapist or coach or mediator and you bring these skills to an individual who comes to see you, they will help. So step three is to explore all your options. You are not stuck in should I stay or should I go? You are not stuck in staying married and unhappy or getting a divorce. Because yes, you can explore ending the relationship. And there are different feelings that come up if you're the initiator, the one who wants to end the relationship versus being the non-initiator, the person who wants to stay together. So you need to talk about all those feelings. But again, what do you truly want? If you had a magic wand, do you want a separation or divorce? Do you want a new marriage? How much do you know about a separation or divorce? Because sometimes learning those details that we'll talk about will make a difference on what you want. Have you spoken with an attorney yet? Do you know your rights? And what are you going to expect? Are they realistic or not? So when you explore your options, you can take a look at your current situation. You can talk about whether a post-nuptial agreement would be something that would be beneficial to you. What if you separated You could separate and do nothing. Just go to your separate corners in your house or go to your separate corners in different houses and do nothing legal. You can get a legal separation. You can get divorced. You can fill out a budget form together or apart and see how your money is being allocated. You can find out what kind of property you both own or what maintenance would be should you separate or divorce. There's so many things that you could learn before you make any decisions that are going to affect your future. And understanding your rights and finances are parts of those decisions. Because a lot of people think, well, I don't want to get divorced because I don't know what's going to happen. But once you realize, and if you're a therapist, you can stay one step ahead of your clients. In my compassionate mediation training and certification, I give you all this information so that you can give your clients what they need without needing to know it all yourself, but staying one step ahead. Because you can learn how to talk about income, assets, debts, how you would divide property. For instance, your income is each partner's earnings, salary, bonus, other income. Your assets are your house, retirement funds, stocks and bonds, non-marital assets, real estate, cars, furnishing, and your debts consist of mortgage, credit, cards, lines of credit, car loans, student loans, and loans to other people. And the reason I wanted to share all that with you is to tell you that you don't need to know all of that right away, but getting that information will help you get clear. Because you may find that you're afraid to get divorced because you're afraid that financially you won't be able to support yourself. You don't know what that would look like. And if you got that information and your marriage truly is unhappy and you should look at your options about whether to stay, having that information will help you get more clarity. Conversely, you may take a look at your budget, your income, your debts, the future, and say, this is scary. I don't think we can do this. So instead of staying walled and defended and judgmental and unhappy, I'm going to learn what I can learn to be more forgiving, to be more accepting, to ask for what I want and need, to set better boundaries, and create a new and improved relationship with my partner where we both learn to come from our highest and best self. And that's what I want for you. Because if you have children, you don't want them to suffer. Should you get divorced, you have to talk about legal and physical custody, support guidelines. You have to learn how to cooperate then. You may as well learn how to cooperate now. And if instead of having two loving homes and respectful parenting, do it now. Learn how to be respectful and loving to each other. Because in step 5 of getting out of limbo, you can create a new and better relationship no matter what form it takes in the future. Because, as Sam Keen has said, it's not about finding a perfect person to love. It's learning how to perfectly love another imperfect person. And recently I came up with the acronym GRAFT. And the reason I came up with it is I realized that most of the wounds that we feel are our ego's wounds, our need to control, our need to be right, our expectations, which someone once said are premeditated resentments. Expectations are premeditated resentments. So when we come from our egos and we're fighting with the ego of our partner, there's always going to be wounds. So I came up with the concept of creating a spiritual graft, GRAFT. And when we take a spiritual perspective, a higher self perspective, a self-led perspective, we have GRAFT. G is for gratitude. Find some gratitude in your situation right now. Yes, there's things that are wrong. Yes, there's things that are keeping you stuck in limbo, wanting to leave, but you still have a lot for which to be grateful. If you have children, definitely. If you have a home over your head, there's a lot to be grateful for. Get in touch with the gratitude. RNA, or radical acceptance. Deep breath with me here. That means you accept what is. You don't fight it. You don't resist it. You don't rally against it. You don't pout. You don't threaten. You accept it. You can make changes, but those changes will come from your higher self. So with gratitude, radically accept and forgive. That's the F. Forgive yourself, forgive your partner. Up until now, You have both done the best you know how to do, considering your level of awareness. Starting now, at least you can do better. Maybe your partner can't, but you can learn to do better, and that will change the relationship. Gratitude, radical acceptance, forgiveness, and trust. Trust, that's a big one. If you have a higher power, ask God for the highest good for all concerned. If you have a therapist, if you have a mediator, if you're working with someone, trust that the process you're in will lead to your highest good. And most of all, trust yourself, even if you can't trust your partner. Trust yourself to know that you're no longer going to stay in a relationship that is hurtful, harmful, doesn't meet your needs. You're going to take proactive steps one at a time to move in the direction of your highest good. So be grateful, radically accept the current situation, forgive yourself, eventually your partner, trust mostly in yourself and the process. And you can put a spiritual graft on the wounds of your ego that are causing you so much pain. So you can create a new relationship, whether you're together or apart. Because it's not what you're doing, it's who you are being. Are you being your best self? Are you bringing that calm, compassionate presence into your relationship? Probably not. I can help you. And I want to help you get the information and support you need. Because whether you're here for your own purposes or whether you want to use what I offer my clients with your clients, I want to help you get this transformational process that helps clients like yourself or your clients consider an ending with information, guidance, and support to form a new beginning, whatever that form is. It could be a better relationship. It could be a respectful separation for a short time. It could be a legal separation or a divorce, but you will transform the way you communicate because you'll learn how to compassionately communicate first. And you will feel confident yourself for your own relationship. And if you studied with me in my compassionate mediation certification, you will have all the tools, resources, information, and support you need to become an expert in conflict resolution. So Gail and Jim were partners in life and in business. They came to me and they ended up keeping their business together and coming out with nothing but hope and peace. So that's what I want for you, whether you're working with your partner, whether you're looking at a future. And if you're a therapist or coach, I'd like your clients to be able to say this about you too, that they come out with hope that no matter what their relationship is, it's going to be better than the one they have now. And as far as you being here and watching this might be the sign that you've been looking for your own situation. Because the 5 steps of compassionate mediation are: be your best self, learn how to compassionately communicate, where you learn how to access your best self, let go of your limiting beliefs and judgments, unburden pain from the past, and relate from your heart. That's compassionate communication. Then you explore all of your options, from having more date nights, individual counseling, marriage counseling, all those other options. You understand all your rights and finances, and I go into great detail in the program. And you have the ability to create a new and better relationship, no matter what form it takes in the future. And whatever you do, if you do nothing more from this session, I hope you can take a breath and in this moment, forgive yourself and your partner. Just forgive yourself and your partner. You've done the best you could, so have they. Learn how to practice the miracle of empathy using iMessages. I have a video on that I can send to you. And be kind to the inner child in each of you. Because if you're thinking, should I stay or should I go? If you're stuck, if you're in limbo, let's change the face of divorce together, one heart at a time. And in my compassionate mediation program that's based on my book, I help you be your best self, compassionately communicate, explore your options, understand your rights and finances, and plan for your future. And if you're a professional listening, you can get a roadmap of the process so you can help your clients go from heartache to hope to healing to happiness, and get my roadmap. And then talk with me about whether certification feels like it might be a fit. And if you would like to get your compassionate communication self-care kit, there's a guided meditation in there, which is the guided meditation that I do with all of my clients to help them get to their higher self. Because when you're looking at the situation from your higher self, that immediately gets you out of limbo and allows you to be clear. You can also get my book, Compassionate Divorce, on Kindle, because we can change the face of divorce one heart at a time. But again, get my free book chapter at lindacrollbook.com and join me for all the other offerings that I give. Because if you're in limbo, if your clients are in limbo, please connect with me. My compassionate mediation program is starting soon. It's available now. And what it is, it's 6 modules of everything that we're talking about right now. It's my video of how to, I'm going to find the link here. If you go to compassionatemediation.info, you'll get information on the program, because it's a 6-hour video series of everything I tell my clients, from how to be your best self, create the relationship, explore your options, understand your rights and finances, and plan for your future. It's all in the program. There are videos, templates, handouts, meditations, inspiration guides, and it's available now. I'd love to have you join me there. If you're a therapist or coach, you get continuing education credits for studying it with me. And I look forward to sharing with you my 35 years of experience. Thank you for joining me now. I hope it helps. And I just want you to put your hand on your heart right now with me. Take a deep breath and connect to whatever is your version of your highest self. God, higher power, or even put your hands on your abdomen and do a couple belly breaths to bring in some calm. And tell yourself you're not stuck. You've stayed to the end of this. You have other avenues to pursue. I'm here to help you. And you are on your way to the future you truly desire and deserve. And I'd like to help you in any way I can. So thank you so much for staying. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, please send them to me and I'll get back to you. Again, thanks for being here. Bless you. And it's going to get better. I promise. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.